Okay, here we are. It's Tuesday, September 25th. We've covered the speeches of Antonio Guterres, a total hypocrisy fest in the UN General Assembly. Also that of Trump, and now an event here at the Westin Hotel of the Iran summit. Right now there's an entirely off-the-record event, so I don't see any purpose of attending something that we can't use at all, so we've got to move. We're on the move, but it's raining. And so this brief periscope, only to say, first, a review. Guterres' speech was full of hypocrisy. He talked about climate change when he's taken 15 undisclosed visits to Lisbon using your money. Talked about human rights when he's thrown the press in the street and covered up the deaths of thousands of Anglophones. Absolutely corrupt. And yet, because he has a job, he is not allowed to be a dictator, we've just written to him to say we have a right to attend tomorrow's event by Michelle Bachelet. We've written to her as well. Because yesterday we learned that the UN maintains, unbeknownst to many, an undisclosed current and active ban notice list. It's like the no-fly list that people complain so much about. No appeal, no due process. Except the UN has it and applies it to journalists that Tony doesn't like. Tony is corrupt. And so I've asked for a disclosure of the list and for its end. And I've also, and Ms. Bachelet, the High Commissioner of Human Rights, has been informed as regards her own event. Will she accept the banning of a journalist for reporting on corruption at the UN from her human rights event? If so, you'll hear from us again. Now, there's an event on 48th Street that I'm going to try to make it through the rain. Let's see. To be continued.
Obviously, I speak as a minister of development and UK aid, acknowledges that aid multilateral gender into economic development programs and building the data and the evidence that they will have a real impact, and that's something that we are very much focused on. As a global leader in advancing women's rights around the world, the UK commits to continue to play our part in this important campaign. I want to highlight one of our programs, our Work and Opportunities for Women program is one which is working with global and British businesses to provide free.
There's also the censorship program and the selling of Anglophones in Cameroon's program.
So I believe very strongly that whether it's government, lawmakers, the private sector, the aid sector, none of us have all the answers. What we need to do is, by events like this, learn from each other, rise collectively to the challenge, and recognise that gender equality is not separate.
UK Minister Harriet Baldwin, Minister of State for Africa.
If we can bring equality to women in terms of the economic empowerment.
New Age Natural Gas. Paul Beer. Well, thank you. Thank you for your kind response to the mission's role in the censorship of inner city press.
Clearly tell the passion of this room about people
Did you see
serious people in this room are about women's rights, but the seething looks as if we went with the stats. When I actually referred to the lady friend here, who just almost looked like she was about to snap the dead to the mixer. As soon as you mentioned that. Right. I'd like to now welcome Assistant Secretary General Renyon.
I haven't seen this lady.
Thank you very much. Thank you, ministers, for being here today and for supporting Women's work and being such good partners. And thank you, all of you, for
Look, an Assistant Secretary General,
here
also responsible for censorship.
Women's economic empowerment and labor market access is essential to enabling.
Okay, here we are in Continental Barclays Hotel. We've just covered an event featuring Harriet Baldwin of the UK, who is the Minister for Africa, but seemingly didn't say anything when Liam Fox, another Minister of Trade, literally bragged about a deal with Paul Biya of Cameroon. Absolutely shameful deal. A shameful deal with a blood-splattered 36-year dictator. Now, these guys were up at the meeting, and they were excused to go to some cabinet meeting. This is how it works here at UNGA Week. Hotels are jammed with diplomats, and upstairs, sushi, crab sandwiches. Here, at least, unlike the Grand Central Hyatt, there's no UN flags being pimped out. But there's definitely some kind of pimping going on. Out into the rain. The delegation is on the move. They said they were in such a rush they had to leave, but they're not moving very fast. Let's go this way. Let's see what's happening here in the big world. It's an exit. Push to open? I think I can do it probably without pushing. Okay, we're outside. We're going to see the pomp from the beginning to the end. Pomp and pompadour. Pomp and pompous. Watch. From crab cakes to Big Tony's circus. Now, for those not paying attention, Inner City Press has been banned from the UN for reporting on Antonio Guterres' corruption. Yes, it's true. But we're covering UNGA as best we can. We've been at the Westin. We've been at the Hyatt. We've been at the Intercontinental. The amount of money being spent on this sleaze fest is totally out of keeping with any possible benefits. Are these the guys? I saw a guy jump out of a car with sirens. Yeah, I know. Too much. Diplomats, man. Sense of entitlement. Here we go. Pomp and circumstance. La ministra. Pomp and pompous. Apparently they can't walk across the street to their car. The car must be brought onto the sidewalk. This is like Tony in his big limo in front of Oretsky's Patroon. This was profiled, actually, in the New York Post. The regime of censorship of Antonio Guterres. Yes, it's true. I don't know. We're running out of pomp and pompous here. The driver is ready. The car is ready. I think it's happening. We like to cover from the beginning to the end. There goes the umbrella. Oh, the van is ready. Into the brown van? No. I'm not sure why she couldn't get into that side. Well, there we go. Pomp and pompous. They're off. The delegation. And so we here in Pompous Land can only say the UN has become corrupt under Antonio Guterres. And we demand better. Okay, here we are. The streets are empty. Windswept. The sounds of protest. Up ahead on 47th Street. Let's go as close as we can on foot. Big Tony has banned Inner City Press. Big Tony, corruption. A son doing business in Africa, undisclosed. Trips to Lisbon, undisclosed. Big Tony, Antonio Guterres, a censor, who not only had Inner City Press discredited as a journalist, but put him, on a secret no-fly list. Undisclosed, never got anything in writing, showed up with an invitation, RSVP accepted, and was told by Tiny, yes, Captain Tiny of the UN Department of Safety and Security, that you're banned and there's no one to talk to. We called Allison Smale's office. A woman named Charlotte said she'd call right back. Never did. Incompetent, corrupt. We wrote to Amina Mohammed, the deputy. We wrote to Luisa Ribeiro, Viati. Finally, we wrote to Big Tony. Yes, we wrote to the Tone Man. Tone. We wrote to him. Let's see, we'll go to 48th, man. Sure, why not? Into the maelstrom. Traffic has got to move. Traffic is on the move. It's very windy. It's rain swept. And so, we've written to Antonio Guterres to say it's not nice and it's not appropriate to have a secret no-fly list. You're no better than human rights violators you purport to criticize. All the talk of climate change, all the talk of human rights, it's all BS. A liar, a hypocrite.
Yes, I can say it on personal knowledge. 84 days in the street for daring to criticize the great emperor Antonio Guterres. Shocking. Let's see. Those protests are going strong. Hang on. Looks like you can't get through unless you live in Trump Tower, Trump International Center. Up. We'll cover some protests. Oh, I think this is the pro-Venezuela protest. Let's see if we can go through the parking lot. Somehow I doubt it. Nope, full security. All right, enough is enough. We'll be back on the protest beat, I guarantee you. Here you can catch a small glimpse of the protest pens. And here, the windswept streets. And so we say, rained on as we are, that Antonio Guterres is entirely corrupt. He's thrown a journalist in the street for daring to ask about his personal finances. And that, my friend, is called censorship. Whoa. Egypt protest, pro-Sisi. Can you believe it? Pro-Sisi. They love a strong man in a uniform. Whoa. Wait, this could be Morsiites on one side. Whoa. We're going to go to the absolute middle here. Pro-Sisi versus pro-Morsi. Scheduled at the same time. Volume. I see yellow flags. I see the famous hand of. Whoa. Oh wait, this could be Falun Gong. We've been banned from the UN by Antonio Guterres. He's totally corrupt. We asked about his travel plans, his travel spending, his son's business, tossed in the street. Falun Gong hanging tough. I'm going to get into my own pen. Protesting the censorship of Antonio Guterres. Absolutely disgusting. Oh no. Hey, all right. Wanted, killer. See, I know which side I'm on here. Whoa. Brazil. CC. Hey. CC's a killer. Yeah. Akbar al-Yam. Give me my office. Oh, the Falun Gong guys are hanging tough, man. These guys are hanging tough. Falun Gong, Dafa. I don't think they should have put these meditators next to the Egyptians. I don't know. Morsi, my man. On the other side, pro-Sisi. Wait a second. Who are these guys? I'm in this pen. This is the Free Press pen. Down with Akbar al-Yam. Down with Antonio Guterres. He's a corrupt censor. No more military rule. Whoa, whoa, whoa. We're going to start this again. We're going to label this one correctly. What I can tell you is that Antonio Guterres is corrupt. Absolutely corrupt. Here we are, reporting from the United Nations, where Antonio Guterres has been killing people with Cameroon. Disgusting Secretary General. Falun Dafa for Morsi. Look at these guys. And on the other side, let's go check out those pro-Sisi guys. I think the pro, I don't know. No. I don't know who scheduled this. On the one hand, you have pro-Morsi. On the other hand, you have pro-Sisi. And then you have condemn organ trade. Falun Dafa is meditating in between. Let's check it out. Oh, these guys have disco, man. Sisi has disco. Sisi's going with the disco. Let's go down the middle, man. There's not a lot of... Some protesters didn't show up. This is the Free Press pen. Antonio Guterres is a censor. He threw inner city press in the street because of stories about his personal finances. Disgusting. Look. Whoa. Who are these guys? Wait a second. Terrorists of the United Nations? We got a clown here, too. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Guatemala. Mira. Turkey? What's going on here? Freeze? All right, we've seen it. We've seen it all. Wait, can we not get through? Qatar is... Oh, this is an anti-Qatar protest. What? Who are these guys? Are those guys barbecuing? Are the Sisi guys barbecuing? What? We have a clown, Qatar? All right then. On this note, and in this place, we leave you. With the clowns, it's incredible. Antonio Guterres is corrupt. Totally corrupt. Totally corrupt. It's a clown. Okay, you've seen it. The Morsi protesters, the Sisi protesters, and now, what? A gaggle of Europeans? Maybe they're handing out tickets for yet another UN event that anybody and his brother can go to, except a journalist that happens to write about Antonio Guterres' corruption. It's incredible. Even question it. Just questions. They never answer any questions. These guys are lined up to do something. We're not sure what. Wait a second, I reckon it. That's not Francois Fall. That's some other guy. That's some other long-time UN paid individual. What's this all about? Whoa. Canadians? They're in line. What's this one for? Let's check it out. Let's zero in. Let's check out the sign. What do we got? Can we focus? Things are getting a little... Let's see. Oh, man. Our focus is not what it once was. In more ways than one. These guys are in waiting. Let's check it out. We're going to go check it out. Wait a second. We don't have to wait. We can just go and check it out. It's not like the UN where they have Ronald Dobbins that can beat a journalist up. Let's take a look at what the sign says. Keep ticket collection. Oh, it's 12 years to break barriers and leave no girl behind. Definitely. Leave no girl behind. UN is so hypocritical, okay? They have peacekeepers raping children and then nobody's held accountable. And people line up for events about leave no girl behind. Give me a break. I just went to something at the Intercontinental Barclays where Harriet Baldwin, UK minister, fully defending the oil deals with Paul Biya, who's killing Anglophones, was talking about gender equality to a room full of sushi and crab sandwiches. Absolutely disgusting. Not the crab sandwiches, by the way. Crab sandwiches were A-okay. It was the hypocrisy of these events. These crazy events. Absolute hypocrisy. Hypocrisy! Okay, here we are. This is the Plaza Hotel in Ungatime. Check it out. Black cars as far as you can see. NYPD. Barricades. Now, the reference in the title of this Periscope to Dictator Guterres is meant seriously. I've learned only minutes ago that not only did Antonio Guterres, so thin-skinned, so corrupt, rejected an entreaty by Nobel Prize winner Jose Ramos Horta to stop censoring the press, he rejected one of his own SRSGs, Special Representatives of the Secretary General, with no explanation of why. Now, we know why. If you dare ask questions about Tony Guterres' use of funds, you'll find yourself beaten up and in the street. And it's worse than any dictator. It's terrible. The UN has allowed itself to be run by a man who's a dictator. And nobody can say anything. Not the SRSGs, not Virginia Gamba. Nobody. Not a Nobel Prize winner. This man is corrupt. There's no ends. There's no limit to what he would do. And so all of his people, many of them quite happy to do so, back up whatever he does. The spokesman, we're not going to answer that question. You take responsibility of the question. Alison Smale, a total joke. She should be fired, except that she won't be because she's doing the bidding of the great censor, Antonio Guterres. And it's amazing. You can go back and look at the stories. They started off perfectly fine. Then we started asking about, hey, where did he go? Don't you have to say what country he's in? No. Then he got angry at that. Didn't like the reporting on Cameroon. Next thing you know, Dictator Guterres had a journalist beaten up. He's responsible. He ordered the hit. He should go to jail. I'm saying this in broad daylight. Antonio Guterres ordered the roughing up of a journalist and should go to jail. Now, he has immunity, so we got to work through that. But people of the world should know that the head of the UN is a man who ordered a journalist beaten up because he didn't like the coverage. It's unbelievable. A head of state in any democratic country would be impeached for this. Macron's guard, Ben Ali, whatever, no, not Ben Ali, Ben Souda, has done it. And so, what can we say? Antonio Guterres is corrupt. I've concluded it, and there's no explanation. I learned today, unscripted, that he rejected, wouldn't even discuss, wouldn't even consider one of his own envoys saying, wait a second, this guy's been reporting on the UN for a long time. He actually helps the, this is what the guy said, not me. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. He can get away with it, so he'll do it. What else is he doing? We're going to find out. Because we're not going to cease. That's what's called freedom of the press. When a dictator tries to shut you down because he doesn't like a story, all you can do is ramp it up. And so the ramping has begun. Okay, so we've come here to try to get back to the UN, and we can't cross. It's totally frozen. That'd be one thing. That would be one thing, but they're now ordering people to get off the sidewalk, which is absurd. If they don't want the people on the sidewalk here, you got to close the sidewalk off. You can't tell people to get off where you've already penned them into. So we'll be here for a while. Maybe, I don't know. Supposedly there's some kind of a reception of Nikki Haley, and so I can't imagine it's Trump coming home early for a little snack. But here we are. What I want to catch is the guy saying, you got to go, you got to leave. It's like, no, we don't. This is a New York City sidewalk. Today, all day today, we've been portraying the massive police presence in and around the UN. Now we're on 57th Street. It's one thing to say if you want to cross the street, go to 60th. But you really can't. Okay, man, that was fine. The other guy was just saying, you got to leave, you got to go. It's like, no, you don't. Like, if you want to move the barricades back, then move them back. But we're right here. There's a guy quite upset about it. And rightfully so, rightfully so. A lot of sand trucks here for the Trumpster. Oh, by the way, did I tell you? Antonio Guterres is corrupt. He's more corrupt than Trump, much more. He also, well, forget that comparison. He had a journalist beaten up for reporting on him. It's incredible. Yeah, quite similar, quite similar. Oh, you see, that's, in the UN, they say no. They say if you do periscoping, we're going to smash you. That's what they say. All right, we'll end this one while it's still chilling here. Let's check it out. Let's check it out. Ready? Let's turn it around. Let's turn it around and end it as we began. Actually, maybe it won't turn around. I don't know. It's possible that it won't. When the screen gets rainy, anything can happen. Okay, great. Look. Okay, well, here we are. You see the cars. You see it all. Here. 57th and 5th. We're going to get back to the UN, although we can't go into the UN because of the corrupt dictator, Antonio Guterres. I know it sounds strange. I've seen this kind of thing before, and I've said, is it true? It's true. Let me tell you. I've reported the same way on Ban Ki-moon as this guy. The only difference is that Antonio Guterres is a corrupt censor, willing to have journalists beaten up and banned, and to reject anyone's commentary on it. He's corrupt. He's corrupt. Here's New York City. Look at the police. Look at Tiffany's. I could show you the Nike store down there. We can show you, this is a, yeah, man. I'm telling you that Guterres is more corrupt than Trump. Does that mean I like Trump? I don't know, but you check it out. You check it out. No one will say it. All the Swedens, the EUs, our Secretary General. This guy had a journalist beaten up and thrown out, and he won't listen to his own advisor. So he's terrible. That's all I can tell you. The UN is dying, and if it does, I'm going to just cover it, inside or out. I don't care. I just got hit by an umbrella. And so on that note, signing off. Antonio Guterres is a corrupt censor.